So, Sonali, when you look at the broader equities picture, we're kind of back where we started here at the end of May, but with Bitcoin still significantly down. Why?
Yes, what goes around keeps going around, Emily. It goes around and around. So when we talk about Bitcoin here, the price movements here, on one hand, you have a lot of people saying, okay, it's time to build. It's time to put our heads down in a down market and really, make projects that will last for the long term. So where are we? Bitcoin has really risen in the last week. It has not risen past 32,000, but it is above that 30,000 level. We are down meaningfully on the month, as you said, about 16%, while the S&P has not moved much at all. The questions moving forward will be about correlations. I also want to draw attention, Emily, here to Ethereum. Why? Because Ethereum is also down, not just on the month, but on the week as well. So you have seen a divergence in the last week between the two large cryptocurrencies. The questions moving forward here, well, how will they react in relation to each other, in react to the rest of the crypto universe, and in reaction to a lot of the macro environment that we've been watching so closely this month. And, we've been talking about those venture funds. How will they deploy money in this continuously down market?
All right, Sonali, thanks much. We're going to hear more on this from Alyse, Killeen, founder and managing partner at the Bitcoin-focused venture firm Stillmark, who talked about all of this and more with my colleagues Matt Miller and Kaylee Limes. Take a listen.
Bitcoin companies historically have really thrived in crypto winters. It's a time to build, it's a time to be focused on sound tech, and Bitcoin is that.
So, we've seen Bitcoin moving back towards the lion's share of market cap. It's so fascinating that Bitcoin can be, I think right now, 45% of the market cap of all crypto, and we're talking about 20,000 some coins. Is this not an existential crisis?
For crypto?
For Bitcoin. For Bitcoin.
So I think that Bitcoin's mascot is the honey badger. And what that represents to the community is that Bitcoin as a sound tech sort of hasn't cared about what's happening around it. It operates very independently. And in fact, that's the purpose of the protocol. Bitcoin was invented, it was emergent of 2 decades of work on how to build an open and fair financial system that could serve the underbanked and the unbanked in the same way that it served the wealthy and privileged. And so Bitcoin and Bitcoin builders are generally really heads down. Now, I think something interesting that's happening today that you see reflected in the markets, in the crypto markets and in the Bitcoin market, as well as in the broader macro environment, is that there's a collision of two things. Bitcoin is cyclical. Its cycles have been historically driven by halvings that affect miners. And so we see about a 3 to 4 year cycle for Bitcoin, which has an impact on the rest of crypto, of course. But now we've also seen a macroeconomic downturn, and Bitcoin trades as a risk on asset currently. I think that over the long term that will change, but today that's the case. And so these forces are at play in how we see what we see happening with Bitcoin's volatility. However, if we look back historically to 2008, and another example of a challenging macro environment, what we saw then was that new paradigms introduced by cloud and mobile were really powerful tailwinds for fledgling companies.
Are we going to see, by the way, Alyse, any new way is proof of work going to be a thing of the past, or is it still the only trustworthy way to maintain the blockchain?
Proof of work is a thing of the future. So it's the only trustworthy way to maintain a decentralized and fair payments and financial system. And that's Bitcoin. But the economics of mining, the economics of proof of work incentivize investment, major investment in sustainable energy. We know that today the sustainable energy represents about 58% of all energy used for mining. And that's a 60% year-over-year growth, so 60% increase from Q1 2021. Now, the fact that Bitcoin mining has been able to so quickly transition to a sustainable energy source as the dominant source, I hope will be an example for other sectors to follow.